who are finding it hard to love themselves. So, to the students.
Sorry. Do you mind if we start again?
Well, we can't have you start, and time is a problem. There's always room for rebuttal. All right, so don't sit out. That was Vera Stewart. We have to run and get to her opponent, and that is Victor Favour. Victor, can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Come closer to the microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So we're going to give you the same time, 3 minutes. All right, your time starts now.
To my honorable adjudicators, sponsors, moderators, listeners, and of course my worthy opponent, I greet you. With you here in the studio is Victor Favour, a student of Jesus Outreach Modern International School. It falls on me this day to argue in opposition of the given motion. School students should not have to wear uniforms. Schools are known for their uniforms, and uniform gives identity to a particular school or institution, making them different from others. School uniform is a clothing the students are required to wear at school. We live in a world where our looks and dresses determine our social standing and are the basis for acceptance in the society. Glamorous clothes and fashion are idealized, and people try to follow such affluent things to conform to society. It is most often seen in modern schools where such clothing are common, and students are judged by their physical appearance, which is why we must help parents and students see and understand the importance of uniform. The following are the significance of school uniform and why they must be used in place of those clothing. 1. Equity. In today's world of fashion and trend, clothing has become a status symbol for children in schools. Uniform negates that and instills a sense of oneness amongst them. 2. Discipline. It is when you're a student that you learn the basic tenets of discipline and control, taking forward to your older age. Wearing uniform reduces absenteeism, promotes school attendance, and helps students pay more attention to their studies. 3. Unbiased teachers. One of the most amazing things about uniform is that teachers can never be biased to one set of students who are well dressed. 4. Confidence. Uniform promotes confidence and helps students have a higher opinion about themselves. 5. Distinctive styles. School uniform gives a distinctive style to students, which helps them look better and different from other schools and students. 6. Improves concentration and focus. When all the fashion accessories are taken away from students and they are made to wear the same school uniform, it completely removes distraction and they are able to concentrate more on the studies. 7. Teen delinquency. In the West and other foreign countries where school uniforms are not predominant, there are still school rules for types of clothing, which gives teachers the authority to send out defaulters whose choice of dressing goes against the school standard every day, thereby encroaching on school learning time. 8. Uniform saves valuable time. My dear opponent, you would agree with me that choosing a dress whilst going out can be very confusing, if not conflicting. If not color combination, then style. If not style, then correct mood. All this time being spent in choosing a particular cloth on a school morning saves children's time with the use of uniform. Lastly, religious tolerance. In choosing uniform, school first consider the various religions of their students, thereby settling with the choice of uniform that is best acceptable to all religions in the premises. This helps in preserving the continuity of the inherent family religion. Thanks.
All right, just hitting the 3 minute mark. And now we're going for the rebuttal, and we're going to have Victor Favour with her rebuttal. Stay tuned.
This is up.
I beg to differ debate, and we're going to get the rebuttal this time around, coming with Victor Favour. Once again, 3 minutes on the clock. Your time starts now.
God duly observed. I still remain Victor Favour, here to repeat my opponent's intelligent points in argument, with attention paid to my opponent's points. The idea of uniform restricting freedom. With the idea that uniform restricts freedom, we should note that freedom implies being authentic on who you are. That leaves the question, who are you as a student or a child? To be a judge on decency when we don't even know our left from our right in life. Secondly, my dear opponents, do you know that uniform protects a child from sexual harassment? How so? With body changes and rapid growth in children, I put it to you that I can hardly tell apart a minor from an adult without uniform. But with uniform, one need no further explanation. Furthermore, in terms of security and emergencies, imagine going on a field trip or an excursion where students from various schools come together. How can a teacher tell apart his or her students for safety in terms of emergency, or having to hear cases of missing school children? With uniform, it becomes easier to trace those children when found back to their schools. Just as clothing identifies a profession, uniform reveals a student. You can easily identify a medical doctor, lawyer, chef, sportsman, and so on when seen. So why shouldn't we be able to identify a student when we see one? By judging how indecent or skinny form may appear, especially in some countries, in my defense, I would say it is not against their culture to do so, as people define a society. Same uniforms cannot be allowed in other countries like Middle Eastern nations. 6. Bad parenting skills. A school is a place where students from various families come together to learn. Imagine being raised by a parent with little or no regard for decent dressing. How would such a child dress amongst people from decent home? That could cause gross discomfort. And lastly, school certificates are awarded in characters and in learning. A child who dresses poorly with absence of uniform cannot be said to have character after learning. Thanks. I remain Victor Favour.
All right, Victor Favour, thank you very much. We're going to get to hear from our opponent who's going to deliver her rebuttals.
This is I Beg to Differ on 92.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation continues in a moment.
All right, I Beg to Differ is back with our first contestants for the day. We're going to listen now to Vera Stewart, who is rebutting in her defense. All right, are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right, you need to speak louder, be confident. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, so let's get it. 3 minutes on the clock. Your time starts now.
Good day, everyone. Once again, my name is Stewart Vera, and I'm here to counter the points of my dear friend seated here, Victor Favour. So I recall her saying that uniforms help to ensure equality between students or among students. I still feel it's not, because affluence can still be reflected from the choice of clothes, choice of shoes, wristwatches, bags, and down to even the cars that come to pick students up from school and send them to school. Secondly, intruders can still come to school and blend in with everyone by purchasing the same uniforms as everyone else. But how to reduce this is to install cameras, security cameras in the schools to ensure that intruders have no way into the school. And next, you said that uniforms help to reduce distraction. Personally, I feel whoever wants to be distracted will still be distracted. So if you tell me that I can reduce distraction by putting on uniforms, it's totally erroneous, because I don't need uniforms to be focused in class. I can be putting on an Apple wristwatch and my classmate is totally distracted because I'm wearing classy things, or I'm carrying the latest hairstyle, or I'm wearing expensive sneakers or something else. So I honestly feel that school uniforms do not have a role in this. School uniforms also help students to adapt better. School uniforms do not help students to adapt better to weather conditions, because the school uniforms may not be able to cater for every single weather in the country, such as the hot weather. It is my choice wearing non-uniforms to put on a tank top or sleeveless, and then during the cold season, I can put on trousers and I can put on cardigans and coats and so on. Then I also say that school uniforms increase pressure on students. Students are pressured because it is not everyone who can afford the price of uniforms in school. Low-income families find it difficult to cope with the prices of the uniforms in schools. But with the use of non-uniforms, it helps to relieve or alleviate financial burdens on school students and their families. School non-uniforms also encourage creativity, as students are going to be uniquely identified from their peers, and it helps them to explore different styles, communicate positively with their peers, and experiment fashion, thus nurturing their creativity. And this can help lots of students who feel insecure about themselves or feel like they are not loved get to love themselves, be more confident, and be proud of who they are. School uniforms, countries such as United States of America, Finland, and Sweden also do not have rules on putting on uniforms in school, and they are countries with great educational standings. With this point I've stated, I hope I've been able to convince you why school uniforms are not needed in school. Thank you.
All right, just on the mark. Woof, what a debate that was. The issue of school uniforms. I'd like to thank you ladies for coming through this morning. A job well done to both of you, Stewart, and to you, Victor. Thank you very much for coming. Well, we'll go on a break. The judges are somewhere around. They'll do their magic and we'll get the results right after the break. Stay tuned. 92.3 Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ debate returns. minutes. 16 rounds of debate, 1 million naira at stake, and the adulation of their friends and family. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I Beg to Differ. All right, so I have with me the results from the previous round, and what a feisty round it was. Very fine margins, but the three judges that we have gave that particular round to Victor Favour. It was a unanimous decision. Congratulations to Victor Favour. Very fine margins for that particular round, because when it came to the points and indeed with the rebuttal, we had Victor Favour taking that particular round. So Victor Favour is going to the next round. It's now time for us to have another pair, and they are sat with me in the studio. Nathan Utiome and Tracy Young are going head to head, and this time around, the conversation, the bone of conversation is farm subsidies boost the agricultural industry and economy. I'll take it again. Farm subsidies boost the agricultural industry and the economy. Well, which do you think is the better answer? Is it yay or nay? For or against? Well, we're about to find out. But first, let's get to say hello to our students. Good morning to you and welcome. I'll start with you, Tracy. Tracy, how are you doing this morning?
Fine, sir. Thank you.
So we dropped the temperature, so it's not so cold, right? You're comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Nathan, how are you?
Good.
You
Pretty much.
Pretty much comfortable. Okay, so now you know the rules. It's 3 minutes for each round. We're going to start with the opening salvo, after which we have the rebuttal. Now, the person who starts first, right, will start last for the rebuttal. So whoever is against is going to start last and also start first for the rebuttal. Does that make sense to you?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Are you both clear?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any questions?
No.
You're all good. We're good, right? Yes. Okay, so it's time for us to get into the debate proper. I Beg to Differ 2023, broadcasting live from 92.3 Nigeria Info. So we begin with the person supporting the motion that farm subsidies boost the agricultural industry and the economy. And that is Nathan Franklin Utiome. Nathan, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. Your time, 3 minutes on the clock, starts now.
Farm subsidies boost the agricultural industry and the economy through the creation of employment opportunities, promotion of stability, and food security. But before I go on, I must give honor to whom honor is due. Good morning, moderators, a great timekeeper, my honorable panel of judges, my co-debaters, and my ever-present audience. I am Nathan Franklin Utiome from Shubham International School, and I'm here to propose a motion that says that the following points. Firstly, what we understand is subsidy. Subsidy is money that is paid by a government or organization used to the production of businesses. Now, an agro subsidy is a government incentive paid to agro businesses, agricultural organizations, and farms to supplement their income and reduce the overall cost of producing goods and services. Farm subsidies have been known to have quite a number of benefits, such as price control, environmental conservation, increase in trade competitiveness, etc. But how do these farm subsidies actually boost the industry, the agricultural industry? Firstly, they provide stability to farmers by offering financial assistance in periods of low prices, crop failure, and other unforeseen circumstances. This ensures consistent food supply and economic stability, and a steady food supply is important for both international and domestic trade, as it reduces dependency on foreign goods and allows us to focus more on domestic production. In a country like the USA, for example, whose farm subsidies have played a major role in its development, in its economic development, by ensuring a stable food supply and supporting the agricultural producers, there's been a notable increase in its agricultural output and its economy at large. Secondly, farm subsidies facilitate rural development by providing financial assistance to rural communities and supporting its local farmers. Now, the development of these rural areas is important because when these rural areas are developed, they'll be able to contribute usefully to the economy, therefore leading to economic growth. Take, for instance, a country like France, whose farm subsidies has helped support rural communities by its farming incentives has helped preserve the agricultural sector by providing financial stability to farmers and allowing them to continue their agricultural produce. Now, this has also increased the trade competitiveness in France's agricultural products, thereby contributing to its economic growth and its regional development. Thirdly, farm subsidies also encourage farmers to invest in new technologies, infrastructure, and equipment. And it also earmarks funds for research and development, and the adoption of these new technologies and modern farming techniques will enable farmers to produce goods that are outstanding in both the international and domestic market. I mean, who doesn't like goods that are different from the regular everyday things we see? Well, judges, I do. What about you? I mean, take a look at countries like the USA and Brazil who have been able to encourage their farmers to adopt these modern farming techniques. There's been a notable increase in their productivity.
Well, your time is up. 3 minutes on the clock. That was Nathan Franklin Utiome with his opening salvo. We'll be back shortly with the salvo from his opponent this morning. 90.3 Nigerian food. Don't go anywhere.
This is I Beg to Differ, 92.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation continues.
This is 92.3 Nigeria Info, the only place where talk is not cheap.
Well, do farm subsidies actually boost the agricultural industry and the economy? Nathan Utiome says yes. It's time for us to get to hear Tracy Young. She argues nay, I don't think so. And if you're wondering, I beg to differ. 2023. Welcome back. Joining me now is Tracy Young. Tracy, can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right, I need to speak down into the microphone, be bold. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, good. Now, you understand the rules. We have 3 minutes for you. Are you set?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you set?
Yes, sir.
3 minutes on the clock. Your time starts now.
Good morning, moderator, honorable panel, sponsors, and my very opponent. I'm Young Tracy from Jesus Spring Mother International School. With the permission to express my fixed feeling in opposition to the given motion, farm subsidy boosts the agricultural industry and the economy. May I now draw your attention to these keywords: farm subsidy, agricultural industry, and the economy. Farm subsidy are government incentives either given to farmers or paid for different in price of agricultural commodities. Agricultural industry or sector encompasses 4 subsectors: crop production, fishery, forestry, and livestock, while the economy is a state of region in terms of production and consumption of goods and services and money supply. With my following points, I hope to address the above motion. 1. Political favoritism. Nepotism in our part of the world has always been an apple of discord, as corruption proves to be predominant amongst most people. How then are we sure that this farm subsidy gets to farmers and not political stakeholders and family members of those elites? 2. Increased nation's debt. According to the cables, Nigeria as at March 31st, 2023, the total debt stock of Nigeria, both external and domestic, stood at 49.85 trillion naira and in dollars 108.30 USD. Need I remind my opponent that is agriculture in general and not farming alone. Payments in farm subsidy will only increase the above figure, thereby making the nation's economy to suffer. 3. Increased taxation. Permit me to ask my dear opponent this very important question. Where do you think these subsidy allocations come from? If not World Bank, other countries, or increase in tax? If the latter be the case, then business owners, private and public alike, would suffer increase in tax, thereby increasing the price of goods and services just to appease one sector. My dear opponent, is that not robbing Peter to pay Paul? 4. Surplus production. Implementation of farm subsidy will only increase agricultural sector. When majority of the population goes into agriculture, oversupply becomes the case. When supply overpowers demand, price of goods will fall. How then does the government bounce back on her debt when the price of commodity is not encouraging? 5. Profligacy. When government pay farm subsidy and provide farmers with needed farm machineries and structures, what then happens to its maintenance? As the maintenance of government property has always been swept under the carpet, my dear co-debater, that will be best described as prodigal spending of government revenue. 6. Ecological hazard. Increase in agricultural sector means increased farmers, increase in farming activity, which threatens our environment by soil erosion, degradation, deforestation, and so on. 7. Government loans and empowerment scheme. Instead of subsidizing price of agricultural materials, government should create further empowerment, thereby making this loan payable and encouraging said farmers to work hard and not depend on the reduction in price of agricultural materials. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Just before the marker. All right, so we are going to get back in a few short moments. We're talking about agriculture subsidies. Do you think they boost the economy? Yay or nay? We've heard their opening salvo. It's time for us to get to hear that rebuttal. When we return, we're going to have our guest, our student right now, Tracy Young, who is going to give her rebuttal to the opening salvo of Nathan Franklin Utiome. Stay tuned.
This is I Beg to Differ on 92.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation continues in a moment. To thrive in a fast-changing world,
Tune in to 92.3 Nigeria Info for the best of news, talk, and sports 24/7.
Well, welcome back. It's time for us to get to hear the rebuttals of our guests this morning. The students are joining me, Nathan Franklin Utiome and Tracy Young. Our topic is farm subsidies boost the agricultural industry and the economy. That is the bone of contention. Farm subsidies boost the agricultural industry and the economy. It's time for the rebuttals to begin. I'm going to start with our female. That's Tracy Young. Tracy, can you hear me? All right, and are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. 3 minutes on the clock. Take a deep breath. There we go. Your time starts now.
Still on the existing protocols, I remain young Tracy in attempts to counter my opponent's points. Creation of employment and opportunity facilitates rural development. With my following points, I hope not to only rebut, but also learn from my opponent as he answers the following questions. My dear opponent, if farmers are granted subsidies as you advocate for, that would only impact on the agricultural sector, thereby posing a threat to our economy as Nigerians practice mixed economy system. What would then be the fate of other private and public sectors? I would leave that question for my dear opponents. Secondly, farm subsidy encourages farmers' dependency. That leaves yet another question. How do these farmers measure their actual progress without this governmental help? Thirdly, research shows that since 2015 till date, agriculture has not contributed up to 30% annual GDP, with the highest being 26.21 in the year 2020. Need I remind my dear opponents, that is agriculture in general and not farming alone. Furthermore, farm subsidies can only be given to landowners. This rigid qualification disqualifies farmers who lease land, thereby being unfair. Permit me to ask my dear opponent this very important question. If farm subsidies are paid from taxpayers' money and natural disasters as the flood which happened in 2022, destroying hundreds and thousands of acres of arable farmland, is that not a gross waste of resources? Yet another question for my dear opponent. Agricultural sector is broad, so why then narrow our scope to farming alone, as the agriculture involves crop production, fishery, forestry, and livestock? In countries where farm subsidies are paid, like in the US, emphasis are placed on type of crops to be grown, which affects nutrients of arable farmland. Lastly, matters of civil unrest when the said subsidies does not get to the target farmer. What then do we expect? Yes, your guess is as good as mine. Protest, which the nation is not ready for. Thank you. I remain Young Tracy.
All right, Young Tracy delivering her rebuttal in under 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It's time we get quickly to her opponent, Nathan Franklin Utiome. All right, so once again, for the sake of clarity, Nathan Franklin, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right, it's time for us to get your rebuttal. Same time, 3 minutes on the clock. Your time starts now.
Good day, everyone. I am Nathan Franklin once again, and I'm here to, standing on the existing protocols, I'm here to reinforce my points and make my statement clear. All right. I remember my fellow opponent here mentioned something about overproduction Well, I beg to differ because overproduction is not always a bad thing. If you had listened, I mentioned earlier about investing in new technologies, infrastructure, and equipment. Now, I also said something about this new technologies improving crop products, and if these new technologies improve crop products, there will be like the agricultural products will stand out from the regular ones. And you know the law of demand and supply, yeah? So if a farmer has a lot of customers purchasing his goods, overproduction won't be such a bad thing because he'll be able to supply goods to everyone, and everyone will be satisfied with their goods. Now, remember something about farm subsidies causing environmental harm? Well, that's not exactly true because a lot of farm subsidies are tied towards environmental conservational practices such as sustainable farming practices, prevention of soil erosion, biodiversity, and so much more. So farming, the environment plays a major factor when it comes to farming. So if environmental harm is being caused, or if the environment is being harmed, farming itself is being affected, and I believe that kills the whole purpose of subsidies. Secondly, I remember my opponent saying that the money given to the agricultural sector can be channeled to other sectors, but I also beg to differ because the money allocated to the agricultural sector for farming subsidies provides a basic necessity of man, which is food. Now, food is essential because we all require the basic necessities are food, shelter, and clothing, and food being one of them. Farm subsidies will also help reduce the cost of production of food and enable us to produce it in larger quantities, and this will ease hunger and ease other social problems such as diseases, poverty, and so many other things. Now, I remember my opponent mentioning something about farm subsidies only being given to landowners. Well, it is true. I won't argue with that, of course. But I think the government looks at people who are able to produce the most, because we're looking at boosting the economy and the agriculture industry, right? So if these people are able to produce so much, they can even employ some of these unemployed farmers and give them jobs, and they will still profit from these subsidies indirectly. So even though it may seem as if these subsidies are marginalized,
the time is up. Nathan Franklin Utiome. 3 minutes and 1 second. A lot of points to be mentioned. Oh, boys on fire this morning. Well, I'd like to thank both of you for coming through. Did a fantastic job, cannot deny. Very, very aggressive, well detailed points from our guests this morning, Nathan Utiome and also Tracy Young. We're going to go on the break as we have the judges do their thing, and before we leave this morning, we'll find out the winner. But before we do so, I'd like to ask you both to please give a warm hello to your friends wherever they are. So say hello to your friends in school.
Hello.
What school is that?
Jesus of Spring Modern International School.
Okay, and for you, Nathan.
Yo, hello everyone from Sherman International School. It's your boy Nateo. Nathan from Nateo on the radio right now.
Okay.
Make sure you're tuned in.
All right, Nateo, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. We're going to find out very shortly from the judges, and you will be told when you are at the waiting room. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see who is going to go forward in the next 3 or so minutes. Stay tuned right here, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Nigeria info. It's a beg to differ debate. Oh, and I can see the views coming through on Facebook. Appreciative at all of you listening at home and in your offices. Well, thank you for joining us. It's not time for us to get to the really important bit. But before we do that, I'd like to tell you the big partners on this program though this year. A big thank you and appreciation to our sponsors. Lead sponsor is Odibola Properties, and we also have our associate sponsors who have also joined this very noble cause. Seymour Luxury Homes, Sing Forest, and Wakis, who are providing the refreshments for this period. It's absolutely amazing that we are getting people like you interested in not just having a great time on radio, but also emphasizing the importance of education. So once again, a big thank you to the lead sponsor, Odibola Properties.
On your number one talk station.
The lead sponsor, Odibola Properties, Seymour Luxury Homes, Sing Forest, and Wakis. Now, let's get the judges to do their job. I have with me the results. Okay, so Judge A scores 24 to Nathan and Tracy 26. So Judge A gives that round to Tracy. Judge B gives that round scoring 36 to Nathan and 37 to Tracy Young. Judge C, similar scoreline, 1 point difference. And so the majority have it. A unanimous decision yet again. And we have a winner for this round, Tracy Young. Absolutely impressive. Both young ladies getting unanimous decision today. Well, tomorrow is going to be another time. You have to tune in from 11 a.m. to find out which pair will make it through. My name is Jude, the dude, or Mamegbe. It's been my pleasure, honestly, to be doing this. I can't wait for tomorrow. Stay tuned. 92.3 Nigeria will come your way with the news by midday and, of course, the sunny side of conversation. Let's see which debate is better. Is it hers or is it ours? My money is on there. Back to differ. Come on. Have yourself a wonderful morning. Stay well.
This is I Beg to Differ on 92.3 Nigeria.